What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today, reactions to the classics. Gonna queue up one of the great rappers of all time, Nas, and his record God's Son. I want to shout out our longtime friend and patron of the channel, Shane, for suggesting this for us to feature on the channel today, man. I'm looking forward to it. I only know two Nas records in full. Of course, Illmatic, which I think stands as the greatest debut record of all time. And honestly, it's number 2 on my hip-hop list, right behind To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. And man, that record is one that it just blows you away that Nas was a teenager and he was able to write so many poignant lyrics at that time. And then one of the top 10 albums of this year, 2021, King's Disease 2, Nas came out, man, still bringing the heat this late into his career, man, showing that longevity. He doesn't have anything to prove, and he's still out here releasing some fantastic music. And this record is his 6th album here, released in December of 2002. Debuted at 18 in the US, sold 1 million copies in roughly a month's time, which just goes to show you, man, how crazy different the sales figures were, even just back 20 years ago. And this features production by a lot of different producers. We have Eminem, we have The Alchemist, who is one of my favorite producers, as well as Salam Remy, who is on 5 of these tracks. All the other producers are only on 2 or just 1 of the tracks, so Salam kind of takes center stage in that regard. And some quick facts about this, man. Obviously, in this time, partly it's going to be inspired by Nas's feud with Jay-Z, and also a bit inspired by the death of his mother, who passed away in early 2002. Covers lyrical themes such as religion, violence, and his own emotional experiences. Has been recognized as critics as some of Nas's most personal work. After his debut record, Illmatic in '94, received a lot of acclaim, his next few releases were considered to be a bit more commercial, which received some criticism. Fellow New York rapper Jay-Z dissed Nas on Takeover, on one of my favorite records of all time, The Blueprint. Nas responded, of course, with Ether, one of the great diss tracks of all time, elevating a heated feud. Ether was released on Stillmatic, which came out in 2001, an acclaimed record that signaled Nas's return to hip-hop prominence. Jay-Z, and man, this would have been a spectacle, later challenged Nas to a pay-per-view rap battle, but Nas rejected and said, "Pay-per-view is for wrestlers and boxers. I make records. If Jay-Z wants to battle, he should drop his album the same day I do and let the people decide," referring to God's Son and The Blueprint 2's release. After the release of Stillmatic, Nas spent time tending to his ill mother, Ann Jones, until she passed away of breast cancer in April of '02. Nas has described Jay-Z's disses during this time period as sneak attacks because Nas did not want to record music while his mother was sick. Nas's mom passed in his arms and later served as an inspiration for a lot of the tunes we are going to hear today. Very critically acclaimed record. I'm familiar with a few of these songs that Shane actually brought on a couple live streams leading up to the recording of this video. So I'm familiar with Get Down, our opener here, Made You Look, and I Can. Those are the 3 I believe I'm familiar with. Everything else is going to be new to me, man. It's always going to have the lyrics pulled up here. Hopefully the video will be able to be up, but a lot of times copyright gets in the way of full album reactions. But we're going to have a link down to Vimeo where you can check out the full video with the music uncut. Shout out to the patrons, man, who help us have that space on there to pay for the servers and have that up to everybody free of charge. And all that to say, let's just get down into it. We're going to start this thing out with Get Down. You see what I did there? This was the 3rd and final single. Features descriptive storytelling by Nas and funk-based production by Nas and Salam Remy. In addition to elements of funky drummer, the track samples The Boss by the great James Brown, which was previously made famous by the West Coast rapper, one of my favorites, man, Ice-T, on his track You Played Yourself. The lyrics here detail through 3 loosely based criminal stories from different locations. The first story takes place in NYC, where an alleged criminal steals the gun of a court officer and starts shooting. Second story deals with cocaine dealers from Tennessee who provide Nas with a laced blunt. And the final story takes place in LA, where Nas goes to a violent funeral in Crenshaw with his cousin and later kills 3 people. The stories are linked together by a speech from Salam Remy that implies that black people will never get up if they get down in crime. Nas said, quote, "The story is based on the trial of two people I knew who got locked up, Free High and Worm. Worm is the one who threw up the fist, and Free High grabbed the court officer's gun. This made it in the song because I saw him and his mom on the news while I was in the studio recording the track. I recognized his mom from elementary school because I went to school with his sister and she used to be around." So, seems like we're going to be in for quite the storytelling spectacle here. I've only heard the track one time and I didn't have the lyrics pulled up as it was going. So I'm looking forward to diving deep into this. Thanks again to Shane, and let's get down. Nas starting out with just absolute fire here on Get Down. I mean, this is a way to get people engaged into your record. You bring this as the opening track, man. You bring that James Brown sample, and I mean, that first verse that Nas spit was just ridiculous, man. His flow on this track, the wordplay, just it all felt so effortless. Even whenever you go down into it, there's so many internal rhymes in here that just kind of blow your mind, man. And the storytelling on top of that is just absolutely next level. There's so much to unpack here on these tracks and just with Nas in general. I'm not going to be able to touch on everything, man, but I think that the imagery in that first verse in particular, man, kind of brought forth that grittiness of NYC, man, as he's describing this guy, New York streets where killers walk like Pistol Pete and Pappy Mason gave the young boys admiration. Prince from Queens and Fritz from Harlem, street legends of the drugs kept the hood from starving. I mean, what a way to start the freaking song right there, man. And as he continues to go on, he notes that one day grabs me as I'm about to blast heat. 40 side of Vernon, I turned while he asked me, "What you up to? The cop's gonna bust you." So this guy, I believe, is warning Nas here in a sense. He notes, "I was a teen, drunk off brew. Stumbled, I wonder if God sent him, 'cause 2 squad cars entered the block and looked at us. I ain't flinched when they watched. I took it upstairs, the bathroom mirror, and brushed my hair. Staring at a young disciple, I almost gave my life to what the dice do." I mean, there's just so much to unpack here. So Nas, as a young kid, man, apparently is here about to rough up some guy until somebody kind of grabs him and says, "Hey man, you do this, you're essentially going to ruin your life, man." So that kind of changes the course for Nas in that regard here. Before we go into that story that we talked about at the start, that's kind of inspired by a couple people that Nas knew about the courtroom, triple homicide. I sit in the back aisle, throw up a fist for Black Power because all we want is freedom. He grabbed the court officer's gun and started squeezing. Then he grabbed the judge, screams out, "Nobody's leaving, everybody." And then I just thought it was so well done how that transitioned right into the James Brown sample. Get down, get down. He did that in the last verse as well, where again he's talking about the laced blunt that his girl had, and then talking about the Crenshaw funeral and just kind of the turmoil there, and this woman that he kind of passed by, opened the hotel door to let her goons in, but I moved in a mirror on some Jet Li shit. I let the hammers blow, wet 3 kids. Ooh, see, honey thought I had something to do with all the drama because I was with the crew that had her people killed. And man, just that storytelling just so engaging, and you can't even pick up everything on first listen. And I do enjoy that. And then you got Salam Remy at the end, kind of talking in a kind of manipulated voice there, and kind of bringing his thoughts on the situation. Just really love this tune, man. Gotta be amongst my favorites, I would think, at the end. But there's a lot of album left, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're gonna go to The Cross, which is produced by Eminem. With the name, I'm gonna expect some religious imagery in here, but let's see what we got. All right, The Cross, man, second tune in here. You can definitely tell this had Eminem's fingerprints on the production right here on the beat. Kind of, I could see this. I mean, this was released 2002. I could see this beat being on something like the Eminem Show. It reminded me, honestly, at points of the song Square Dancing, where I believe that's the track that M actually shouts out, "All nasty Nas wants to square dance with me." So who knows if there was a connection there or what. But here, man, you have Nas again noting, as we said at the beginning in the quick facts, the whole is he still the king of New York in the rap game and whatnot, and here he kind of notes that he is. For you rappers, I carry the cross. So we kind of get that religious imagery. He's like the Messiah here. He's here to bear the sins, I guess, if you will, of these other rappers, and kind of carry the rap game, I think, to new heights and whatnot. And he kind of calls some people out as well, even from the first line. Y'all can keep y'all weak beats from your corny producers. There's a new king of the streets you're gonna get used to. I was the old king of the streets that y'all once hated, but now I reinvented myself and y'all all waited. He continues to go down with the religious imagery, saying, I parted the sea, then these novices targeted me. Bitches infatuated say they love me, lying to me that what I've discovered is my brother's trying to be the next me. Yeah, I support him, but he's blinded, I see. Jealousy, he loved me to death, and I'm bugging, I love him for life. We both still mourning on our mother's life. So, again, got a bit of that heartbreak in there from his mom's death. A lot of themes, man, just really interweaved in this tune, man. And, I mean, just those lines I read there, just the rapid rhyme scheme, man, where everything's just building off one another. Nas's flow here is just fantastic, especially in the first verse here, and he expounds upon that in the second verse as well. Again, kind of calling out other not rappers by name, but just saying that he kind of brings almost that wartime imagery, mentioning 30 cals, 10 millimeters, and it's just a kind of, this is wartime type of track right here, man. And so all in all, really strong song here, a classic Eminem type of beat on there, and you got some great lyricism to boot, man. And now we're gonna go to Made You Look, one of the more famous tunes on here. Is actually the first single, and this is built around several samples lifted from the incredible bongo band's Apache. The single was important in establishing Nas's direction following his battle with Jay-Z and the Stillmatic record, and its reliance on intricate lyricism in an old school aesthetic. The song reached much commercial success. It is his third highest charting single to date, and the beat was also used on the song In My Bed by the great Amy Winehouse. There, obviously, Nas and Amy were really tight, and actually collaborated on a couple of different tracks. So Pitchfork ranked it as the 47th best single of 2002, and Q ranked it as the 903rd best song ever in 2003. Right, Made You Look, definitely my favorite beat so far, man. Remy absolutely killed this one, kind of chopping up that Apache track. I've actually listened to the record that song's off of, and it's good in its own right, man. If you would like to check that out, was obviously great percussion, and it lends well to a hip hop song for sure, man. And yet again, I think the wordplay here by Nas is just so fantastic, and that intro where it's saying brave hearts, like I didn't have the lyrics pulled up, I was thinking I was saying hey Nas, but the brave hearts, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. A rap duo that Nas's brother is in or was in at some point. But anyways, man, some of my favorite lines on this one, yet again, kind of brought forth that grittiness, that kind of old school New York type of atmosphere, I think, to it, which if that's what Nas was going for, as we kind of read at the start, I think he succeeded in spades on this one, man. One of my the chorus as well, I think the way it utilizes the sound effects of like the gunshot and "you a slave to a page in my rhyme book," talking, I think, almost about us or just these other rappers who can't really, quite get to his level, man. That we're, no matter what it is, just even one page in Nas's rhyme book, we're going to be over here. We're going to be dissecting the lyrics. We're going to be trying to figure out, okay, how did he do this or that? I thought that was really tight, man. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the second verse, all my just coming homies, parolees, get money, leave the beef alone slowly, get out my face, you people so phony, pulled out my waist, the Eagle 440. Oh man, I thought that was just really intense, and just an awesome display of lyrical ability right there, man. So I can see why this was a hit single. Love the beat, and some fantastic storytelling to boot on it. And next up, we're going to Last Reel Alive, and on this one, this is what many consider to be the last song in the Nas vs. Jay-Z epic. While some criticize Nas for his homophobic insults and not coming down harder on Jay beyond surface level, this is Nas carefully and clearly airing out the situation, informing everyone as to what really happened with Jay-Z, Puffy, and everything that had happened up to this point. I love me some Jay-Z, and I love Nas too. I was, wasn't really into hip hop at 7 years old, at the age that I was when this came out. But reading up on it here, all these years later, I'm gonna be curious to see what Nas has to say on this one. Right, y'all, this track, man, yet again, some fantastic storytelling, kind of cueing us in this whole entire history. And I thought the beat was subtle, which is what it needed to be, to just cue in on what Nas was talking about here. He starts it off talking about Biggie's track Kick in the Door, where Biggie kind of threw some shots at some rappers, including Nas, and he continues to go through talking about just how he got his start in rap a little bit. It was my version of the blues, dropping out of schools. The crack epidemic had rap representing new roles. And so he continues to talk about that, talk about his friends that got shot or died, his friend Lake, who got sent to Rikers Island, talk about making rounds with AZ, who, features on Illmatic, of course. And then he starts to note, all right, I started getting some steam. People noticed my flow here. And he talks about kind of the rap scene at the time. You had Puff try to start a label. Prince Rakim had formed the Wu-Tang, talking about the RZA. Snoop and Dre had a new thing, out in California. And then Puff drove his new range through Queensbridge projects. He let me drive in it before Ready to Die hit. So this is before, obviously, Biggie just makes a humongous splash on the culture, man. Big and I hit blunts performing at the Arc. Next thing you knew, Big Blue and all the ballin' starts. He had Kim and his crew, of course, talking about Little Kim. I found Fox. He knows Big was ahead of his time. Him and Raekwon, they couldn't get along. That's when Ghostface said it, again talking about the Ghostface Killer here, said it on the Purple Tape. Bad Boy biting the Nas cover. Wait, so this is where some of the stuff starting to as some turmoil is starting to go out a little bit. Ray told me out in Shaolin, of course, again, that reference to the Wu-Tang Clan, Big would do the same thing. But Nas knows he borrowed from both of them. And then we get our first introduction to Jay-Z here with saying that he started to flow like us. He had that Versace swagger. Big admired the Brooklynite and took him in as Iceberg the Rapper. Today, don't know nothing about this. There's more shit than wanting to be this king of New York shit. So he really kind of lays it all out there. And then verse 2, this is where the beef really kind of escalates. He notes apparently there was a new to me story I see on Genius here. Kind of talks about Steve Stout and Puff had a bit of a altercation in the late 90s. Steve Stout, the head of Interscope Records, and Puff came in apparently because he was mad at one of the scenes in Nas's Hate Me Now video, and apparently kind of put the work in on Steve with a champagne bottle and a telephone. So then he kind of notes how that kind of escalated the beef a little bit, and with Jay-Z, he notes that Nas didn't really care. He stayed at home, a quiet man who used to be planning, alone planning. Baby moms thought I was too quiet, couldn't stand it. She hit the streets. Later on, she hid in the sheets with a rapper who wanted me on his songs, thinking he's strong. I don't know exactly what that is a reference to, but that's that seems like that would kind of add some fuel to the fire as well if your girl's going out. And one of my favorite parts of the song is when Nas kind of starts dropping all the wordplay of his own discography. Illmatic, I Was Boss. It Was Written, I Floss. One of the most creative LPs ever to hit stores. In the Firm, I Learned I Am Nostradamus. QB's Finest, Uchi Wally. I Faced More Problems. I Gave It All Up so I can chill at home with my mom. And then he talks about how Jay was just taking shots at a time. He wasn't really looking to make music. He was worried about real life stuff, man. And man, at the end of the day, he notes, I was Scarface, Jay was Manolo. It hurt me when I had to kill him and his whole squad for Dolo. Yeah, just a fantastic tune, man. Loved yet again the storytelling and just Nas's take on the whole feud and situation, man. Definitely another one I got a heart. And now we're gonna go to Zone Out featuring Brave Hearts right here, and let's just get diving into it. All right, Zone Out here, the Bravehearts featuring here. You have Jungle and Wiz dropping some verses here. Really just noting how much they have Nas's back and how much they're going to bring the heat to anybody who comes against their way. I liked Nas's wordplay as well with the kind of a pickup from the last songs, the GODSON. I soothe a female's estrogen. Oh, Nas out here multi-talented, ladies and gentlemen. He had some good wordplay in here. The beat, this is kind of the first miss though, just overall for me, man, because that beat just didn't work for me. I respect the fact that I believe, let me see here, I think Remy, Salam Remy again was producing this, and I respect when artists try to do something a little different, a little bit maybe weird or out there, but this one just didn't resonate with me on first listen all that much, man. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And next up, we're going to go, though, to a Hey Nas track featuring Claudette Ortiz and also Kalis. And this song is going to sample Rising to the Top by Kenny Burke, as well as Get It Locked by Pitch Black and Foxy Brown. So let's see what we got. All right, Hey Nas in here. Theme of this track, very simple, man. Nas's relationship with the ladies and what he's really looking for in somebody, man. He's not looking necessarily just for somebody who's there for him physically, though he knows he wants that too, but somebody who's going to be there by him, man, through the thick and thin, whether you're broke or got the money, whether you have success or not, somebody who's not going to mingle with your enemies and whatnot. And he brings in Claudette on here, and he also brings in Kalis. I know I'm probably butchering her name, but he actually married her a few years after this, and they since divorced. And so that's kind of interesting too, bringing that in right there. His third verse is probably my favorite, where he really kind of ups the speed of the lyrics that he's spitting here, man. And I like the shout out to You About the Baddest Thing Since Michael Had Billie Jean and Prince Gave You Diamonds and Pearls. I thought that was I always enjoy whenever Prince gets a shout out, man. That was cool. So all in all, man, yet again, I thought the beat was pretty solid, laid back, and fit the subject matter quite well. And now we're gonna go from one solid tune to now a great tune in I Can. The last song off this record that I believe I know. This was the second single, went to 12 in the US, which is surprisingly Nas's highest charting single ever. Unlike the rest of the album, this does not have any explicit content as it is aimed at children. Samples Beethoven as well as the drum break from the Honey Drippers Impeach the President. Their lyricism encourages kids to stay drug-free and pursue their dreams. Also, he raps about a friend who was moving up in the music scene only to fall victim to drug addiction, and that took her career and her looks. Nas said about the track, quote, "This was a groundbreaking period for me. This was my biggest radio record I ever had, and like If I Ruled the World, it was used by tons of schools for their graduation. A song like that helped me because I have a daughter and because I make so much music that when she was younger, I didn't want her to listen to. I owed her and other kids something real that's up their alley to show that I care, that I'm a human being, and I'm not just going to give you a tune about what happens in the hood all day, every day. I've got to be a real human being," and that was one of my real human being records right there for my daughter. So that's one of the most important records I ever made. All right, I Can, bringing it up in here, man. Of course, gotta heart this one. The use of Beethoven in here was just so fantastic, and that mixed with the children's choir that starts off the track just sets for a very unique sound that you don't obviously hear blended that often. And then Nas, man, he brings the serious nature just from the very start. He is encouraging, here saying that to the girls and boys, you can be anything you want to to be in the world. But he then talks real quick and switches up, talking about that woman who thought, she was going to be a star. She got fell in with the wrong crowd, started doing drugs, and that derailed her career there. And then you go into that catchy chorus, "I know I can be what I want to be," and the call and response with the children's choir, man, is just done so well. And then in verse 2, he starts to warn, and I think this is where his daughter comes in, about predatory men, the rapists out there. Act your age, don't pretend to be older than you are, give yourself time to grow. You thinking he can give you wealth, but so, young boys, you can also use a lot of help. You thinking life's all about smoking weed and ice. You don't want to be my age and can't read and write. Nas keeps it real on this track in a way that isn't like one of those, after school specials that we all know where, oh, don't do drugs, kids, do this, do that type of thing. Like, this is somebody I think kids, actually respect Nas and what he has to say, man. So, and then he goes in that third verse, which is probably my favorite, man, where he talks about just the kind of history of Africa and the royalty that it was, and how through the years it was ravaged and led to the slave trade, and just being encouraging to those kids there, man, that nobody said you have to be gangsters, hoes. Read more, learn more, change the globe. Ghetto children, do your thing. Hold your head up, little man, you're a king. Young princess, when you get your wedding ring, your man will sing, she's my queen. What a way to end the song right there, man. Just love the positivity and the uplifting nature, and also the warnings to heed that Nas was bringing on this tune as well, man. And now we're gonna go to Book of Rhymes here, which is actually gonna be the first one here, produced by The Alchemist, who says, quote, "That happened like how the song sounds. I couldn't even front. We were sitting there one day working on his album in Orlando. I had a bunch of beats going through the ASR. Nas had brought a bunch of books out to Orlando because I guess he writes in his off time. He was going through and I was playing a beat, and he said, yo, this would be pretty ill, right? And I said, what? And he said, yo, I'm just going to go through these rhymes. I didn't even know what he meant, to be honest. That then he just told the engineer to track the beat in. We tracked it in, and he just did what he did. He went in there like he was on a mission. He knew what he was about to do, and it was ill. I remember later I wanted to spruce the beat up and put breakdowns in it, and he was like, nah, it has a vibe like we're really just in the studio, and you put on a rough beat, and I'm just going through rhymes. If you put in breakdowns, then it's going to sound too contrived. As a producer, I want to do all the bells and whistles, but he made the good call. He's an artist, and I don't want to reveal his magic tricks, but I remember after recording a few lines or so, he went back and recorded the sound of the paper flipping the page when he stopped the line or crumpling of the page. He's an artist in every sense. We all know from his track record how great he is, and it's not like he stumbled on it. I wish I could say I had something more to do with that song than me making the beat, but no, sorry guys, give all the credit to Nas. I just like to quote some of these other people as well, man, to get an idea of the creative process. So let's see what we got. All right, y'all, Book of Rhymes. What a creative track this was. Another one I got a hard off first listen here, man. You really did feel like you were just in the studio with Nas here. I did enjoy the sound effects, the paper going, and I liked in between the verses as well. It almost felt, all right, oh, it's like he found a girl's number, and then he's going through, and he even admitted, this rhyme's weak. Oh, I got to get to writing more, doing this, doing that, and it just kind of sets up the next verse. And he talks about a little bit of everything here, almost like you would in a stream of consciousness type of a Book of Rhymes thing. You're writing about one topic one day, the next page is going to be about something totally different, man. And I think that I think we have that in the song here, man. Name dropping everything from again, kind of other rappers, and that first verse to the second, we name drop Gandhi and the U.S. Army, and also talking about the money's your religion, sky's the limit, live life, numbers is big business, makes the poor live trife. Ooh. And he continues to go through talking about various types of different people in that regard as well, and just kind of consumerism. And then at the very end, man, he notes, look how we treat pregnancy, women in the hood, our values so low, our values are no good. He ends up noting, talking about his young infant, saying, I'm jealous of you. How come you so beautiful, smiling, fresh, youthful, intelligent? And I envy you because all you do is smile and things come your way. Such an innocent child is what some say. And he ends it saying, I must be crazy, jealous of my own baby infant. Because, man, when obviously you're a baby and an infant, you don't really have those worries that you do once you reach adulthood and life kind of hits you on the ground, man. So really creative jam right there, man. And I thought the production by Alchemist was fantastic. And now we're going to one I'm looking forward to, Thug's Mansion here, featuring Tupac and Jay Phoenix. It's originally a song by Pac here, released as a posthumous single with two known popular versions, both released on the 2002 album Better Days. Here, Pac's gonna depict a gangster's alternative to heaven, one of the most introspective and spiritual songs by him. The song talks about how he would rest in peace and that he would eventually find happiness when he is in a place where all the troubles and pains of his life have come to an end, and that he wants to end up in that place of peace after he dies. This version has Tupac's second verse and Nas's verse switching places, and Tupac's first verse replaced by a new verse by Nas. Did you follow that at home, ladies and gentlemen? Pac and Nas had a bit of a beef before they overcame their differences just prior to Pac dying. It was also rumored that they would collaborate, but they never had a chance. Pac was said to have been listening to It Was Written, Nas' second album, when he was shot in September of '96. So really looking forward to this one. Let's get into it. Wow, what an absolute touching, emotional track this is, man. I don't know the original, so this is my first kind of introduction to Thug's Mansion in general, man. The acoustic guitar really threw me back, man. It's obviously not something you associate with rap, and yet it works so well, just giving that relaxing vibe and atmosphere, and it was a pretty melody right there. And love Nas' introduction and his first verse, man. He came with this A game on there, man. Hardly took a breath, just spitting out some fantastic bars and noting all these people he's passing, kids walking home from school on drug blocks, missionaries pass out papers that read love God. I see faces, cases, judges and juries, masons, lawyers and cops. I watch because every thug's face is my mirror. Ooh. But this one in particular, then he notes this kid who's 16 years old, did his jail sentence, nowhere to go, talking with his friends, going to smoke. He's already had a lot of setbacks, the dangerous environment that he's in. He needed a place to go to keep his mind expanded. I give him a helping hand, bring him out to Thug's Mansion. And then Jay Phoenix comes on with a very smooth chorus there, talking about every corner, every city, there's a place where life's a little easy, little Hennessy, laid back and cool every hour because it's all good. And then Pac comes in on that second verse, man. Little shout out to Dear Mama at the very start. The most watched video on this channel right here, ladies and gentlemen. Love the name drops to the greats like Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson, Billie Holiday, Malcolm X, talking about how he saw Miles Davis cutting loose with the band. Just that piece that is in this place, man. And he notes that just right before I sleep, dear God, what I'm asking, remember this face, save me a place in Thug's Mansion. And then Nas kind of expands on that in the final verse, gives a shout out to Pac's mom, Afeni, and noting as well how he's going to see his mom, that passed away from cancer, and that one day they're all going to be in there sipping heavenly champagne, where angels soar with golden wings in Thug's Mansion. Just a beautiful song right there. Definitely one of my favorites up to this point. And next up, y'all, we're going to hit up the track Mastermind. Right, Mastermind bringing it here, man. Yet again, just showcasing the great storytelling ability that Nas has, talking about at the start how him and his buddies were bidding over his heads. Two of his friends got killed in this story, and Nas knew that you can't mess with the masterminds and the criminal world. And as we continue on over this Alchemist beat, again, he notes in verse 2 how the game kind of changed. He name drops this guy named Sonny, who I believe is the guy who had killed his two friends in the first verse, and he had big money since '82, so he's kind of an OG in the game, man. That was back when I had no crew. I switched that. Now I'm strong with people who feel Sonny was wrong. My money's long, his money is weak. He's losing sleep, trying to feel me out to see what it's going to be, but I'm a mastermind. So I really enjoy the switch in the song where he started from the underdog, and then now he's that mastermind. And then in verse 3, Nas talks kind of about his real life, how he is all clean, making millions every few months at the King of New York, that fame only is going to last 15 minutes, but it's what you did with it in that type of time. So all in all, man, I yet again enjoyed this one. Not going to be amongst my favorites, but still a solid tune, showcasing how strong this album is. And next, we're going to go to Warrior Song featuring Alicia Keys, who also produced this track. Like me some Alicia Keys, man, so let's see what we got. All right, Warrior Song, man, love the production on this, man, especially that percussion in the introduction, and it just kind of kept throughout the very kind of Afro-centric right there. Shout out to Alicia Keys on the production. And as we go through this, man, I like in that first verse, we again kind of have that whole God-Son imagery in here, noting I'm from the land of David, the Nazarene of Bethlehem. They had me wrapped in blankets, obviously a callback to Jesus right there. But then he kind of turns it, says, y'all a bunch of backward gangsters. Y'all signing affidavits, snitches with smiling faces, got you blowing trial. I hate this. Then he says, hoping my child can see through this, trying to be a good daddy. I was there when she was born, and she'll be there when I'm buried. Kind of weird, and it's scary. And then towards the end of that verse, you get Alicia popping in with the vocals as well, before we go to the chorus, where she notes this is a song for my warriors, brave-hearted and strong, definition of a warrior. Verse 2, we kind of continue on with this, where Nas gets really personal, introspective here, talking about the death of his mother and how that affected him, and just kind of the sadness and the anger, just all all that grief, what that brought out within him. And then at the very end, man, he notes that this is just kind of for everybody to keep fighting until the fight's over, man. His mom's final words were to never give up, and I think that spirit is in this track right here, man. So yet again, an uplifting type of track, inspiring type of tune, and yet again loved Nas's flow and what he had to say on this one, man. So gotta give that the heart. And now we're gonna go to the track Revolutionary Warfare featuring Lake. So let's see what we got. All right, Revolutionary Warfare, man, Alchemist yet again comes through with a fantastic beat that it just kind of has that soul, almost girl group type of sound, just flipped on its head a bit. So really enjoyed the production on this track. I thought Lake, I'm not really familiar with him, man, but I thought he bodied his feature right here, man. Yet again, some fantastic wordplay in this. And Nas kind of keeping the theme of the track, man, that revolutionary warfare right there, that it's all fair in love and war. And he expounds upon that in that first verse there. And yet again, have those religious imageries in there, saying how his mom was like, oh, you could be Christ, and Nas just knows, hey man, at this point I didn't even know how to pee right. It's a type of deal. He notes the influence kind of marijuana has added him at the bottom of the first verse here, and then at the end, man, he notes kind of some family aspects here. We got to pour into our women, build them up in case the fathers leave, protect the children, grab the revolvers. The woman plays an important part in our life force. And then I like my favorite line was probably, you ain't a man, you a coward if you can't support the girl you put a seed in. I thought that was a fantastic line right there, man. Strong chorus, and yet again, another really strong tune, man. I mean, this album's been fantastic, and we only got 2 songs left. We got Dance right here, and this one is written in honor of his mother, and a really cool deal. His dad actually appears at the end of the track playing the cornet as a tribute to her as well. So probably an emotional tune in store here. Let's get it. All right, y'all, Dance. Ooh, what an emotionally driven song right here, man. This is one, as I said in the reaction, man, touches your heart, touches your soul, man. Just Nas bearing his soul out here, just coming fresh off the grief of having his mom pass away, noting how much he appreciated her, how thankful he is that she was there to raise him up, and that now she's in heaven, at least in no more pain, kind of they're dancing with Jesus. I thought that was really cool, man. And the chorus with him actually kind of singing, you again could feel that pain, man. Just wanting that one more dance with you, mama, but I could only have one more dance with you. And that second verse too, I thought was quite quite strong. I mean, the whole song was strong, but that second verse, where he says, "Job is done, raising ghetto kids in the hood. You was my strength to carry on, and now I'm good. Job well done. You lived through your sons and grandchildren. Jesus finally got his bride. Mommy dance with him." Really, really powerful, man. I mean, I don't have too much more to add. The song speaks for itself. It's definitely one that's going to end up amongst my favorites, man. And we're going to finish this record off, ladies and gentlemen, with the song Heaven featuring Julie Black. And afterwards, I'll give my favorite tunes as well as my overall thoughts on this record. Y'all, Heaven just closing out this record on such a high note right here. I mean, just when you think that you get what Nas is going for, man, he just raises the bar yet again. This first verse in particular, man, after a stunning chorus with the great Julie Black, I thought yet again, I'm not familiar with her or her work, man, but I thought she added a sweet touch to the song in the chorus, man. Yet again, production was quite solid. Nas asking the first verse, saying, "Hey, if heaven was only a mile away and you could ride by the gates, would you try to run inside when it opens? Would you try to die today? Would you pray louder, finally believe in his power? Even if you couldn't see him, but you could feel him, would you still doubt him? Ooh, how would you start acting? Would you try to put the keys down, thinking every drug sale that you make in the streets he can see now?" And he kind of expands upon that idea of, oh, if God's right there watching, would that change how you would act, man, if he was only, if heaven was only a mile away down? And then he talks about racism in here, talking about the police brutality, and then his mom's chemo, and he says, "God, your young soldiers are not sober, but need you. This world's my home, but world, I will leave you." Kind of a bit of a intense line right there, and I just thought that was a great way to end that first verse. Nas's flow on this is amongst the best on the record as well, man. Just so seamless and smooth, and his rhymes in here too are just so freaking fantastic. In the second verse, he continues to kind of expand on some of the ideas of that materialism and whatnot, but at the end of the day, he knows how he just cares about his family and his friends and being with them. And he says, "I give it all away quickly just to hear them all about some new kicks, free of any autographs and not to be recognized. Forgive me. It's becoming unbearable. Making hits is easy." And then he continues to go around, and then he talks about obviously the Catholic Church, the sex scandals in there, and just how that will kind of shake your faith in people and whatnot, and make you want to kind of flee Earth. And he ends the track saying, kind of encouraging people that who feel trapped in the day-to-day life, that every day you wake up and breathe, it is a blessing. And I think that's an important message. We got to remind ourselves, even that's easier said than done in times that are dark, man. And he finishes saying, "To my moms, look at me, baby. I love you, girl. Your boy shining, God's son." I kind of like how that thematically kind of wraps up the record right there. So, man, what an album. My favorite tracks on this, man, just going from the top down, gotta be Get Down. That was just fantastic. Made You Look. Last Reel was fantastic as well. I mean, there's so many great tunes in here. Gotta give love to Thug's Mansion, Dance, and Heaven. I guess I'm just gonna keep it to those, man, but I could choose so many. I mean, as I'm looking on here, I hearted every song on here off of first listen except for 4 or 5, which with 14 songs, man, that shows you got a powerhouse of a record, especially just on first listen right here. Overall thoughts and score of the record, man. Nas has got to be one of the greatest of all time, man. The greatest of all time. His flow, his wordplay, his storytelling, the variety and production on here. I thought he did a good job bringing in people to really give a bit of a different sounds from track to track. I like the features, obviously, with Pac, with Alicia Keys. Julie Black at the end here was really solid. Even Lake on Revolutionary Warfare was good. Only a couple songs were just kind of duds for me. That would be Zone Out and Hey Nas, which was, Hey Nas was fine. Zone Out was a total dud in my opinion. But that's the only really complaint I have about this record, man. He touched on so many different aspects and subjects as well, from everything, obviously, from his mother's death to the beef with Jay-Z, to his place in the rap game, to faith and everything kind of in between that. I just thought that this is one where you are going to have to listen many times to kind of pick up everything Nas is putting down here, and that's what I want from my music, man. I want something to really kind of sink my teeth into, and Nas does that in a great fashion. So I'm feeling a really strong 825 on this record off first listen, man. Really enjoyed this. I want to shout out Shane again for bringing this to our attention today, man. I hope you enjoyed the review as well. Be sure to hit that big thumbs up and that subscribe button if you liked what you saw today. And if you'd like to have me react to a tune or a record, you can check out our Patreon page, which is linked down below and will also be on the end screen, along with another record that you might enjoy. Shout out to Nas, man, as well, for producing such a stellar record that holds up nearly 20 years later here. And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching, happy listening, and I will see ya.